versus PSG.LGD. Grand Finals, Game 2.
Hello again, welcome to the draft panel, the second game of the TI-10 Grand Finals, again with Seb and Noto, and Team Spirit, they took game 1. But I actually had a question I wanted to ask you guys. So in the first game, LGD had choice. They took first pick, and Spirit responded with Radiant. In this game, Spirit had choice, but they actually took second pick, and LGD responded with Radiant. Why do you think that is?
There's definitely a big Radiant advantage, so no surprise that whoever gets to choose side will choose Radiant. And it does seem that now we have two teams that are going to keep clashing at each other's, and they're questioning the execution versus the theory. Because apparently Team Spirit wants second pick and LGD wants first pick. And I think also the way the draft starts is another case of that. This is the exact same scenario of game 1. So this is LGD stating that, hey, there's probably something we could have done better, maybe draft-wise, but our approach to these games is the right one, and we're sticking with it.
Yeah. I always love to see it when you have teams that stick with their guns, and you could say that Team Spirit were maybe really happy with how the choices went down, where they might prefer second pick, or they feel like they're able to punish them really hard, or whatever it is. I think LGD always should be left with okay, now we at least know this is what they want, blah blah blah, and this is a best of 5, so this is also them gonna be getting to know each other better. This outcome of this game is going to be super important for how the rest will shape out. LGD, they might feel something if they're winning, or if they're losing, there's always a chance that they keep going back to the same thing. But then, yeah, this game, we're going to probably see, I'm predicting Team Spirit going for something new again for Yatoro. I think they're feeling themselves a lot and are drafting a lot also on feeling. You also heard Heen talk about that. They're drafting on feeling. And you also see now LGD decided to switch it up, or kind of go away from what happened last game with lack of AoE, lack of team fight, and they instantly lock in Alesh with the IO to give the IO that.
I want to say that, so Team Spirit, right, they really shook LGD. They proved that they can beat them at their own game, and I feel like no team so far in the tournament has done that. And I was kind of sad as a Dota enthusiast, is come on, if you're going to lift the Aegis, somebody has to, make you kind of work for it. And Team Spirit did that, and it's awesome. And now we're going to see, can LGD show us, the level 2, the level 3, and then it's going to bring even better Dota. What I really love about Team Spirit they had the same opener open to them. They could have ET tied again.
Yep.
And, they respect LGD. They respect them so much that they expect them to be ready to punish them for the same draft. So they know, you know what? We're not giving you what you think we're going to do. You're going to have to think on the spot. We don't want you to come to this draft with, XIO8, 1 hour of preparation on how to do even better. You have to think on the spot. Bane Magnus. It's beautiful approach. It's mind games between the drafters, and props to Miposhka and Silent for pulling this one out.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. This is a big mental game. It's always been, it always will be, but it starts here. It starts with the draft, and again, so many statements are being made between the draft, between the two teams. So this is what we believe in, this is what we're going to do to you now, and we're trying to throw you off guard. And yeah, a lot being said.
I do want to say that there's something very interesting in my opinion, is last game, LGD, when they play this West, they're very much looking at connecting early with nothing to say. Mm-hmm. And connecting to a Pangolier that doesn't have the best matchup, it's hard. Pango doesn't really have a way to take over the game. Leshrac, Wisp, that is scary. Leshrac, most of the time, wins his lane. He can power farm. He can, you start accelerating a Leshrac as a Wisp, he might take over the game. And I feel like with the Pangolier, it's not the same. There's
a lot more abuse to be had with the Leshrac. You can get the mana, you can get the soaring, you can get the runes, you can get certain mana abuse that also allows this hero to have a way different game. His timings are something else. This going back to base, this not being able to dive, IO can fix all of it for you.
He will take the towers, he will kill anything, any camp. He'll take the entire game if he has to. And that's something very beautiful. Another thing to mention, in my opinion, is we have not seen Collapse yet out of his, trifecta, Magnus, Tide, Mars, where he's incredible on these heroes. And he's getting them every game. So he got the mag now again, which means, in my opinion, Team Spirit is going to be in their comfort zone. They have so many cool strategies, so many cool lanes. They understand how to fight around these heroes better than any team in the tournament.
And I think you're spot on with the read that you guys have about Leshrac, because they're just banning to protect their mid Leshrac, right? We see the Lina coming out, the Invoker, and even now an Antimate. I don't know if that protects a Snowball. But when you have this hero, I think you pretty much want to play for nothing to save time. I think that's what has found LGD a lot of success in this tournament. I got they're not diverting so much from their West. They think this is the strongest hero for them, but they're adding on to that strategy.
There's something I think very important to mention is that, the second phase, how it's going to go down. And like Team Spirit will have to pick the hero that's going to be kind of the pivotal hero. Like they don't want to show, and then they're going to start counter-picking. And it is interesting for LGD to show the Leshrac that early, because no matter what, first pick cannot protect the mid matchup. Team Spirit can just delay the mid pick for as long as they want to. In this case, LGD is like, you know what? We're committing to this with Leshrac. We don't think it's countered. Or maybe they think it's only countered by Lina and Invoker that can match the pace of what Wiz Leshrac can apply to a game. And now it's like they're happy. No matter what Team Spirit is holding for the 18 or the 24 pick, for the mid lane, it does not matter.
Does that mean you think that Team Spirit should pick their mid out of the phase just so that they don't reveal anything more about the draft? Or
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. There's always arguments for both. Like if you wanna, depends on how you enjoy playing Dota sometimes, depends on what types of players you have on your team. If you see the mid matchup, theoretically, of course, there's many arguments for revealing your mid matchup or trying to address this and have a stronger win condition if that's what you're going for on your carry. There's also another way where it's like, you love your mid laner so much that you're going to pick your carry hero and make sure that this Leshrac is mid and make sure there's no bamboozling happening and he gets the last pick win condition or timing condition or whatever it might be. It all depends. If you pick anti-mage is out, but if you pick some carry hero here and you say nothing can beat it in the game, it makes a lot of sense too because you want your mid guy to stabilize the game and he needs to have a really good start. Like the better the start, the better because you're going to need him very early.
Could this be Shaker Morph coming? Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
So that's one of the. So you have these combos, right, that are very hard to pick, and there's only two scenarios in which you can actually pick them. And probably that's one of the strengths of first pick is first pick has the double pick, right, the Shaker Morph.
Yes. Yeah. There's that, and also you feel like quite often with this phase you might want to commit just because it's going to be hard to counter, and there's this and that. But don't you think this Willow was a protect pick against this?
But potentially, maybe it was even a setup for the Morph. I think, like, the way I look at it is they're trying to take the win condition away from the Mac +1, and I think Shaker Morph has a way to play fights and scale into the Mac +1, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I think I don't know if they thought about it, but Willow Bramble is one of the best abilities against the Shaker Morph. Yeah. The Aghanimps, you can't just roll through the fight. If there's Brambles on the ground, you instantly get pulled down. I don't know if that's what they were thinking, but I also think, like Seb said, they're maybe threatening this Morphling to come up. And if they have an answer now they trap them. Or if they feel like they have an amazing answer to this.
There's many things about why this Shaker Morph here makes a lot of sense. It's not stoppable, drafting-wise. They're picking both heroes, in the same phase. You cannot stop it. Mechanically, drafting-wise, you can't stop it. The AA cannot be picked anymore because they have shown the Bane and they have shown the Willow, meaning, like the big counters to the Shaker Morph are kind of hard to pick for Team Spirit. It's a win condition. It's a very strong combo that scales into anything. Very powerful second phase from LGD, and that's what I think why they are the best first pick team in the tournament, because they understand the weaknesses of first pick, but most importantly, they abuse the strength of the drafting order of first pick. They're like, you cannot stop me from getting what I want, and what I want, I think it beats anything.
Yep.
So from your guys' perspective, of the two drafts, like if you were in their shoes, which draft would you actually prefer to have right now?
It's a hard pick. I kind of want to lean towards LGD, but don't know how you feel about it.
I would say LGD in a way, but at the same time, I can also see where Team Spirit is going with this. A lot of people would say that Lesh, Shaker, Morph are all heroes that are good against Willow, but I see amazing Bramble value here versus the Lesh, the IO. You can break the tether, you can do a lot of stuff in team fights with the Shaker and the Morph, and it's a quick lineup. The Luna is able to hit these timings where Roshan is threatened, where towers are threatened very early. And Shaker Morph, they need a lot of time. They usually don't come online until 20-something.
So I'll make the case against, so Johan is vouching for Team Spirit. I'm going to try to vouch for LGD for what they have going for them. I think they're one of the best teams in the world, understanding how to make a Leshrac scale also through the Leshrac shard. They have abused that in the online tournaments prior to TI. And now this Shaker, plus the Morph, plus the Lesh and the shards, like the scaling, the stun, AoE stuns in the team fight later, it's going to be crazy. I think they have the Wisp, Lesh, as we talked about, they're covering it so much. They ban the Invoker, they ban the Lina, they ban the Void Spirit, they ban the Kunkka. There's going to be very few mid laners that are going to be able to deal with this Lesh running at you with the Wisp tethering to him, overcharge and whatnot. So they do have very powerful things going into the game. Of course, they have the pick-off, the map, Leshrac shoving the lanes, relocate, the Shaker threat, bursting you out of fog on the map, Shaker morph scaling. There's a lot going on, in my opinion, for LGD. And yet again, you look at the 5v5, you look at the lineups, and you can theorize all you want. No, you also have to keep track, and that's why drafting is such a complex thing. You have to keep track of how the lanes are going to play out. Because if Team Spirit, they destroy the laning phase, none of that matters. The game might just be over minute 10.
So do you think they're thinking about the lane right now? Because in my head, I thought LGD, they were going to pick Rubik, right? Counter the skewer, but instead they go with a Nature's Prophet, maybe a stronger laner into that Luna.
Very strong into the Luna Willow or Luna Bane. No matter how you look at it, this Prophet lane should be heavily LGD favored. And it complements very well what's happening. The less rock pressure with the Wisp, now you have treants, meaning you do get a kill, you get a tower. Prophet connects, Prophet ulti. I think it plays very well to their game. It's going to stabilize the game by, slowing down the Luna, winning the lane. It's going to connect to the Wisp and the Leshrac, and it's going to add to the global pressure on the map.
Prophet is also one of the quickest heroes, you could say, in Dota. You pick this, like you pick an Ench, you pick an Ursa. There might just be a different Dota game coming your way. You might not be allowed to play as slow or as fast as you'd hope, because this hero adds so much dimension. And yeah, I think this IO Lesh Prophet, the timings that they can hit before minute 15, they can break this game.
And we see Team Spirit, they're trying to respond a little bit to that pressure with some outspan from long range, but I'm not sure if they have enough. Like, I look at the 4 heroes from LGD side, and that collapse, it looks terrifying, honestly, onto mid, onto safe lane, anything.
I see how both teams can fight. I will still put a lot, like if you take the laning phase aside, and let's say that both teams end up with some farm and items, you have this, he's known for his skewer plays right now, and then you also have the Willow Bramble and the Puck. I think both teams can fight.
Yeah, and now we're going to hear from Sumi, who has an interview with Xiaowei about this draft.
Thank you very much, AUI and the panel. I'm here with Xiaoba from PSG.LGD, the coach. A lot of people were expecting your team to play a different team in grand finals. Did you prepare at all for Team Spirit?
很多人都觉得你们决赛对战的是另外一支队伍，你对 Spirit 有做准备吗？
我们昨天晚上已经把2个队的数据和资料就全部研究开会讨论了。
We've already studied and analyzed both teams' stats last night.
They are very, very prepared. All right. Many people have also said that Collapse's Magnus has led to many of Team Spirit's wins. How does the team feel about Magnus? Are they afraid or are they ready?
很多人也觉得 Spirit 的3后卫他的梦马就非常厉害，也是他们夺得胜利的关键。你们会担心这个英雄吗？
我们有想过他们拿猛犸这个英雄，就是全是在我们意料之中。
We've already thought of them picking Magnus, so it's all in our plans.
It is all in PSG.LGD's plans, and we will see as we go into Game 2 of PSG.LGD versus Team Spirit. Lurkle and Trent, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sumi. And yes, Trent, we are here. They're prepped and ready. A very confident sounding coach for LGD. How are you feeling right now about this matchup?
I don't know. Everyone thought that every other team was going to be ready for Team Spirit the whole way through, right? Constantly doubting them, thinking they weren't going to make it, and constantly giving Collapse these big heroes that they just discussed, like the Magnus. So we'll see. Game 1, they weren't ready. Maybe Game 2, they've got a solution.
It's going to be so interesting to watch. I feel like this team has really just ridden off the back of the momentum that they've gained from the very early goings in the group stages, and they haven't looked back once. The thing that I'm really interested to watch for is if they can keep that up. Like, I feel like sometimes when you get in these huge matchups and you go up one game, Team Spirit now there, you can sense the victory coming, and I want to see if they can keep up that same carefree attitude we've seen from them so far.
Just playing Dota, just having fun with each other.
Yeah.
Surely that, that's got to feel like at some point you've got to be thinking like, oh, are we gonna win, guys?
Is this actually going to happen?
Are we doing this?
It's crazy. But we'll see if it ends up happening here as Mira spots out a couple of those treants that are trying to get a little bit of vision. So interesting things to watch for in this as far as a laning matchup is concerned. We'll see where that Nature's Prophet ends up at and how much pressure they can put on. Very annoying hero to deal with in the early goings.
Yeah, very much a discussion of timings really throughout all the games today. I feel like we're finding that one team seems to have a very clear, we want to do this at 20 minutes. And the other team's like, we just want to hang out and kind of scale.
Oh, Xingqiu gonna have to back out there on the Shaker. And 3 bounty runes again for Team Spirit, just like last game.
I will say, I believe this game that LGD had a very good idea of what was going on. I think they completely saw that puck pick coming. I think they banned around the fact that, like, yeah, that's going to be left in. We're okay with that. It's a go-to hero versus the Morphling. I wouldn't say they're really surprised. Charlotte Tokyo, obviously an amazing player, but, the puck not exactly one of the ones that's been, popping off the rampages here for Team Spirit.
True enough.
those spirits tend to scale just like a little bit more, and you kind of lack that a bit on the puck.
It'll be something to watch for, though, if he can make those good rotations, as obviously the Nature's Prophet on Faithbeyond can also move into multiple different lanes. So we'll keep our eyes on it. And like you said, I think both drafts have like a very clear identity behind them, right? You got this Magnus that's going to start off the fights occasionally after the puck comes in. You've got the Morph Shaker as a potential danger later on. But it is, of course, going to be played on that support Shaker this time. So we'll see if he can get into the items at the same timing we've seen for the cores.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like PSG.LGD were very much ready for that, right? The Dark Willow came out, and then right away they're just like, yeah. We saw that earlier. We know. You want the Morph from the Willow. We're taking the Morph from the Shaker. It's pretty good, too, but yeah, the support Shaker hasn't worked out as well. So, a little bit close there, but Ame's all right.
Yeah, he's going to be able to dodge away from that one. You could see here also a nice little interrupt on the pull-through that came through, and Faithbeyond steps over to the side. This, of course, sets up some free farm for the Luna.
Mm-hmm.
Normal laning shenanigans and the power that you have as Bane in these early goings.
Yeah, it's frustrating for the Bane too, because like you're so used to being able to dominate a lot of situations as Bane. While Miposhka now actually trapped in by a Fisher with the Treants on top of him.
A lot of damage out there onto this poor old Bane. Can they run him down? A couple more hits is all they need. Not quite able to get that last right click, and Miposhka with the brain sap and the runaway. Xingqiu still might be able to run him down. That boots
if he's not
advantage,
careful.
but
all right,
no.
good choice, Xingqiu. Good choice.
Keeps it safe that time.
But yeah, I mean, Bane, obviously you're used to trading favorably and having answers to like someone trying to pull your wave. But with the Nightmare and the Treants being there, they actually have some counterplay here to like trying to set up for plays as well in the lane. So it's a good pick for the Prophet.
Allows him to play that much more freely. But you can see that Luna already off to a hot start. 11-2 right there in the top lane is down bottom. Y. Gonna take one little punch there from the Dark Willow, and a Fissure block off on the other side, but not within that tower range. So we'll be able to get away with some extra damage. Tango, as well as the Quelling Blade through, and he's fine.
That's a nice Fissure, though.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good chunk of damage on him there. Just the harass. Only has a single Tango left. No salves currently on Miposhka. So, you know that Courier, makes the call, brings him up, and it's going to be running with a salve in that top lane now. So if there's any chance here for LGD to score a kill, it might be sooner rather than later.
Too true. Got to look for that opening. Down bottom.
Really trying to pressure, too. They keep pump faking this Fissure up top.
I mean, if you catch him on the wrong side of it, it's going to be a ton of damage out with those Treants. But even without it, right? Just the one Fissure and a couple punches from Faithbeyond, he hits really hard. They will be bringing over that Courier now. Miposhka needs to make sure this one does not get sniped by Xingqiu.
Hopefully you're not losing it to a Shaker.
Yeah, true enough.
But this bottom lane, lots of harass being spammed out here from Mira and Collapse as well. But it's a Morphling, it's an IO. Morphling in itself a very frustrating hero to lane versus due to the regen mechanics and the ability to morph strength and agi, but comboed up with an IO. It's pretty rough trying to get a kill. But Morph players, they tend to go for some of these overextensions, so maybe he'll get a bit greedy there.
Right, and even, just the pressuring and forcing him to switch over attribute shift, it makes it a little bit harder for the Morph to last hit. So it's not all bad, as Xingqiu is going to make that big move over underneath the ward and going to steal away the small camp. How many does he get? Not a ton, but nothing to say. Able to sneak a few as well.
All right, interesting stuff there. It does sacrifice the top water room potential there. Well, I say that, actually. Miposhka
moves in. Toronto, Tokyo. Going to be able to pick up this water rune and maybe get some extra pressure onto Xingqiu. Jumps forward, and there's the first blood. Toronto, Tokyo draws it.
Well done by Miposhka. Like, not even just, he basically baited out that rune, right? Let Xingqiu coming a little bit too close, get the first blood for Team Spirit, and they're off to a hot start in Game 2 after already surprising pretty much everyone by going up one game. I mean, I agree. I thought their draft was better last game, but, we just keep wondering, like, how long will the magic last with this team?
It does seem like just an unbelievably improbable run. To think that this team came all the way through in the qualifiers, we're down 2-1 in that series against Empire, and now up one game against the, odds-on favorites.
Oh,
this collapse, skewer, pull back. They do some good damage there on Ame, but he will not be under too much pressure of losing his life. He's going to get the deny. A little cheeky there. I like to see it from the Morph.
That's a Morph player. That's what that is right there. And, nothing to say. Maybe not a Pango player. I have some theories, guys. I mean, that was his, as far as I could find, mind you, I looked pretty quickly, that was his second professional Pango match.
Yeah.
Now, they played a lot of Pango when he wasn't available to play for PSG.LGD. And, of course, Coach Xiao or Xiaoba stepping in playing a masterful Pango. You know, he
Right.
did really well, and we've had this discussion of like how he sort of controls the macro game to help these players, so they can think more about their own heroes and their own item builds, and they have a clear identity of like what I'm supposed to do in this game. But if you're not experienced on the hero, that formula doesn't work so well.
True enough.
But he's got a less draft now. Much better hero for nothing to say.
Very comfortable. Comfy time for nothing to say. And so far, he's doing fairly well. The early first blood onto Toronto Tokyo giving that puck the advantage as another stack up on those camps. And now, trying to scout for these runes. Maposhka just within vision there, and Nightmare. It's going to use a lot of mana there. And Toronto Tokyo gets the haste down bottom, so a little bit of luck and a little bit of good rotations, helping out Team Spirit.
Yeah, even threatening to have the TP in there, Maposhka will be all right, and actually just starts going right back on the aggressive. Will only catch a sentry though, no obs taken away there. So we heard a lot of discussion actually last game from Insania talking about like the power runes and the strength you're going to have from that right here, and especially for a puck, a hero that's really capable of trying to abuse that, because you want to be making these early rotations with the Dream Coil. And it looks like not going to secure another kill there.
Yeah, I think it's an important point to make, is that you've got to watch so carefully on any of these other side lanes. If LGD overstep, they get a little bit close to a tower, puck could easily make that rotation and kill off a couple.
Oh, Maposhka gets spotted on the way out here. So did sentry on the pillar, was kind of checking around, finding some wards, and then putting obs down by the Ancients. And there is a sentry here on Xingqiu, so this could be pretty painful.
Oh,
he's got it, right?
All right, they see it. That was right on the edge.
That's a huge D ward. That was a lot of time spent from Maposhka.
And at the same time, LGD going to move in and head up top. Why and nothing to say together. Are they going to try and make a kill here onto the Luna a little bit far out? And we'll see if they can connect with this one, but...
This is a tower kill gank.
Yeah.
They're ganking that tower. It's not moving. They don't have to worry about it. Luna, she's kind of fast, you know. She's got some night vision. Maxed out Lunar Blessing. But the tower, it doesn't move.
True enough. They're going to move in and
next
take
hero,
this one down.
Marcy. Can she just throw the tower somewhere?
It's a possibility.
Ideas?
Dare to dream.
Okay, that went down really fast.
Yeah, this is a problem potentially. The early group up right there, and the fact that you can't really contest it at all. Yadoro heads back into the jungle to farm up his medium camp.
Look at Maposhka. He actually got spotted there. He did step in vision for a moment. And a correctly drawn line here from Y, I believe, is to his current path.
But they did get down that ward. We'll see if that one gets taken away by LGD. As down bottom, able to go for the RP now, connecting on to Ame, but I don't know if this is going to translate into a kill.
No, they don't think so, at least. They're not.
Skewer.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they bring in the IO as well, and that's going to be more than enough. Ame backs away perfectly fine.
Maposhka's just like, can I get something done here? You know, my wards. Getting a little D-ward in here, just roaming around. You know, it's actually Y, who's well known for being such a roamer, but on this IO having to play a little bit closer to his ally.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a change-up in styles there. We saw a bunch of that rotation going on in the last game from him, as Maposhka, on his Bane, finds another courier kill.
Yeah, for Y, despite being a 5-player, he actually gets often categorized by like some of the information scrapers in Dota as a roaming hero. We've been told by some of our stats people, just because he spends so much time going between the lanes.
It's Ame, Collapse, facing off with each other. And just the focus right now on the farm, stacking up the camps. Ame again moves up to come and contest this, and Collapse, I don't know if they're really going to be able to do all that much to stop him. Very interesting, but Fissure up top. Now the follow-up, looking for it. Faith Beyond there as well, and this is going to be a kill.
That's a pretty stark difference to the 3 heroes stalking the Radiant carry. You know, they got to get this kill, right?
They got to get something here, that's for sure. Maposhka's waiting off to the side. Nightmare down a couple punches, but they bring in the IO, trade off that Nightmare. And that's going to be more than enough for the moment, but why? Also dropping low, not low enough. Instead, they turn, find Collapse. One more touch is not enough with Faith Beyond. TPing in, they might be able to find him here.
That was the trusty shovel, keeping him alive.
Yeah, heading down to the south. TP is available, but Collapse in some trouble. Does the Spirit connect? Ugh, not quite going to be on the mark. He gets out.
Trusty shovel indeed. Up top, nothing to say. Zoning back Toronto Tokyo as he kind of came in to invade on the Ancients, but the pressure will stay in the bottom lane. We already saw how quickly that top tower went down. No point slowing down here for PSG.LGD.
It's interesting though, right? Because you can see that this is a dynamic that we've seen multiple times throughout this tournament. You have Team Spirit with a little bit of a lead, even though it's LGD that are taking down more of the towers. Just that stacking up farming mentality we're seeing from Spirit right here.
And look at the treants put out here. They're watching for Toronto Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
Because they know that everything's on this Dream Coil. That's by far the easiest way for them to initiate. So you just fan out your units like that from Faith Beyond. And unless they're going to smoke in, you're going to catch that puck.
And instead, they're going to find the Dream Coil towards the mid lane, trying to take down this Lech. Do they have enough? Yes. Toronto Tokyo picks up that kill. And with that, a 3,000 gold lead this early on for Team Spirit.
Bit of a theme, I feel like, from these two games from PSG.LGD. Ame did a similar thing last game on the Ursa, where he kind of stayed in an area which seems like, surely, you know, like you're in trouble, you know?
Right.
He ended up dying on the Ursa in the top lane. And this time, you know, at least they got a favorable trade. They took a tower after that, which I think was part of the plan for PSG.LGD, but they were able to zone back on that bottom tower, shove the wave back out, and now even Collapse running in behind the tower, checking for a courier and everything down here. They're not willing to just, like, you know, give you the, like, take the kill and then just give you the tower. They're able to defend after as well.
All right. Oh,
okay, but now that pressure is coming mid.
Mira, they're going to get onto the Brambles. Thought about that RP, but calls it off afterwards. And again, nothing to say in the mid lane, starting to push down this tier 1 tower with Zinq in tow. And why? They'll get it. It's so interesting to me, right? Because you think about traditionally what people think of these styles of play, and Team Spirit definitely going the more farming route in this one. You saw there for a second the last hits that Yatoro has. 135 compared to the 69 of Ame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're actually spotted out here, but they're not going to have anything in time to catch. But that also comes back to just the idea of punishing that Dream Coil, right? It was used. You killed me. All right, congratulations. But I'm a Leshrac. I don't have any cooldowns. When I respawn, I'm coming right back. I'm taking that tower. But as you said, to the timings, like PSG.LGD, Y has said before, like, we love picking for scale. We like to be very balanced. We're comfortable going late because we think we make better decisions at that point in the game. And even though this is a pretty fast lineup from PSG.LGD, it does have some late game tools, right? The Morph Shaker, of course, if you get to that, can really go against anything at this point.
It is a little bit terrifying. You're not wrong. Actually queuing up the Dragon Lance right now on Ame. So obviously, you could maybe disassemble that later and build it into the Axe if he wants.
Yeah, we see that a lot versus the Luna, because it makes like a really nice little matchup, right? Where she's kind of got this like zone that you're trying to play out of and kite her just a little bit. Gives you that tank ability versus all this magic damage there too. Really balanced item to start out with.
So Team Spirit nursing that 2K gold lead, as on the other side, LGD trying to keep the pressure onto these buildings. Up top, nothing to say is there. The 4 points in Edict forces out the glyph.
Wow, that was a pretty easy glyph to get, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Didn't have to commit that hard at all. I mean, Collapse had already TP'd up there too, so I can imagine they'd like to go for another one soon. And as we approach, you know, sort of past the laning stage, we start thinking, you know, how's the Roche looking this game? They could take it relatively early, right? You get an early DD with this lineup with Nature's Prophet and Morphling. They might opt for it.
And look at this movement in before the Blink Dagger on Shaker. Oh, Nightmare by Maposhka to dodge the stun, but Yaro is still in some trouble as they run him down. It was good, but it wasn't good enough.
Toronto Tokyo's coming, but they are too tanky. I mean, you see these stacked up heroes, maybe you're, you know, sort of thinking about going in for the Dream Coil, but it's a bit too much. They're just so tanky right now.
And instead, they try and find a pick off here. Nothing to say. The rest of his friends a little ways away. Zinq making the move over. They're going to get the Terrorize. That's going to get the Tether Snap. And afterwards, the ulti coming from Willow, but nothing to say. Getting the regen from Y. Keeping his core player alive.
With the wand, with the IO, this early hood into the Eternal Shroud as well. They're going to have some issues bringing down this Leshrac without the Luna being there.
Yeah, I mean, you just get blown up like that. I mean, obviously a great Nightmare dodge of the stun that came in, but in the end, you need to get that BKB online, as we've seen time and again, and Yaro trying to get towards it now. As LGD starting to cut a little bit into this lead here. And also getting a little bit of free time right now for Ame to farm up.
Yeah, I think Toronto Tokyo is starting to just think about like his role in this game, what he can do. You know, Puck obviously pretty versatile in terms of the builds. Thinking about an early Aeon Disc here. And we'll have to get out of this one. Even go for the a TP in there. Very nice play to even preempt that by blinking somewhere else for the TP. Could have set something up there. They also have the Orchid ready on this push here. So with the relocate in 5 seconds, everyone can be top lane right now for PSG.LGD. For Team Spirit, they don't see very much. I mean, they're rotating a lot of heroes to that bottom lane. I think they just have to go for the counter push.
Yeah, there's no other play really. And they have a glyph still on LGD as well.
They need this Blink Dagger on Collapse before they can defend.
It's going to be too much too quickly otherwise. And you can see getting very close. Collapse just going to farm up the rest of these camps here. While bottom, Team Spirit trying to pressure that in.
Toronto Tokyo, he's got the Veil.
Okay.
He's got the Blink.
He's thinking.
How bold is he?
This guy's crazy. We've seen it time and again, and Faithbeyond shows up.
He just wants the creeps. That's all he's going for here.
Oh, Faithbeyond spots him. The silence is there. That's the Orchid reveal, and he is mega dead.
Yeah, he's really greedy. Yeah, it turns out. Oh, you know, you got a full creep wave. That's quite a bit of gold, too.
True.
But almost a certainty when you go over that play.
This does stop the backdoor protection, though, so this is going to stay alive a little bit longer, forcing LGD in this area for a bit. But eventually, it will fall.
And already Faithbeyond back to that bottom lane to just push that back out too. So very well orchestrated there from PSG.LGD. But the Courier, it holds the key. Ice Frog, little Courier delivering a Blink Dagger to Collapse. So, you know, he's got a few more things queued up there you guys might have seen already in this tournament. The Shard, the Force Staff. He's made a couple plays. Perhaps some highlight reel ones.
He's been absolutely spectacular.
I think he needs a couple more this game.
True enough. Not if LGD have anything to say about it. They've also had a few highlights at times, and playing on that Earthshaker with the Morphling, you just know that there's pain coming if they're left to free farm in this one.
That's really the worst part of just staying in the upper bracket. Less highlights, you know, less games to play.
True enough, yeah.
Especially when you crush your opponent so hard, and then finally being challenged now by Team Spirit.
They're up one game again. Cinderella story that hasn't died yet. And seeing if it can continue on here in this game number 2. The BKB is done. Taking a look at a few of these other items around the map. Collapse has that blink done. Xingqiu getting closer to his, has it completed as well now. So all of the big fighting items online.
That's a bit frightening. It feels so good because, like, obviously as the offlaner, you got to get these like earlier items. You got Bracer, got a mech, and then you get your blink dagger. When you're playing as a support, you just got that one thing you're striving for, and it's kind of unfortunate when they match up like that because, like, now it feels like your offlaner can actually play, but Xingqiu, like, this is an excellent counter initiation to have right now. With the way that their lineup's kind of set up, like, he can just lurk for so long. He can just wait on the side, and what kind of vision is going to catch him, right? Maybe an orb. Maybe you can take a fight at night like this and have the advantageous vision.
Oh, but the skewer back immediately onto nothing to say, but he's going to live through that. Nice jump out there. Xingqiu saving the day even under that ward.
I mean, they have Relocate, they have Fisher.
Yeah, they were super ready.
That is a tough one, but at least the Relocate gets burnt, right?
Yeah.
So that is something for them, but immediately into the Roche.
Oh, and LGD going to make a bit of a sneaky play here. Did Team Spirit know that this is going on?
Where's your DD, guys?
They're going to have to push. I mean, this is down to about half HP now. Team Spirit, it's really well covered by the vision of LGD as well, but they're going to smoke up now. Can they get there in time? Aegis, it's super low now. They pull back onto Xingqiu, going to try and take him down first. And they will get that kill, but it comes at the cost of the Aegis on Ame. No leaving it in the pit this time for any other teams.
No.
For IG, everybody knows.
At the very least, you do get yourselves a kill from that, but surely still happy, you know, Xingqiu. That's basically an exchange. Sometimes you trade a Roche for a tower. Sometimes someone on your team just needs to go and kind of feed to block out the smoke. And in this case, that was just a small feed to help things out here. So another game where, like, the kills have also stayed pretty low.
True.
From game 1 and game 2. Feels like teams are being very picky about their engagements.
So much on the line. It's incredibly tense for these teams. And I'm again, you start to wonder how much the pressure is going to be affecting these plays. We'll have to keep our eyes out for it for sure. But Ame with the Aegis, another 4 minutes with this. And I believe this is going to be the Manta coming out pretty soon for him as well. He can start to play with a little bit more freedom here, potentially.
And currently they already have amazing vision in the top lane. You can see this ward just been staying on the high ground here. About a quarter of its duration left. Nothing to say. Feels confident enough to be up there. They already control the outpost since they took that tier 2 so early. Team Spirit, again, just forced to try and hold on and try and build everything up into Yadoro this game. Does, of course, have this buffed up carry mentality that we've been working towards in this main bracket event for pretty much every team. You're going to have the empowered Luna. But, you know, it's not the wolf fight. It's not the tiny. So Yadoro got to do some heavy lifting here.
Potentially, they have a Nightmare and then the walk away. They actually relocate into this one.
There's Relocate. There's Nature's Prophet. You know, it's very scary. If you don't have that really quick burst, you don't really want to take it right now for Team Spirit. But they forced out some rotations at the very least. They got to try and hold this tower, I think, or else this really wasn't worth it.
No IO save this time, though. That's the danger of the Relocate. Nothing to say outside of vision. They don't see him. Now they do. The pullback going to be able to get that skewer. The vision not quick enough. and Nothing to Say goes down, now looking for more. Ame has to be careful, Xingqiu there as well. Oh,
ooh,
but
nice.
Ame with the waveform through it. Brilliant play. Aeon disc
it.
afterwards. Now the chase, looking for more. Can they control? Do they have enough for the kill? The Terrorize comes out, but he got the strength form off. Faith Beyond jumps away. The skewer back onto 2, and the RP. Oh, Collapse did it to him again.
And look, they're just surrounding him. There's no chance to help. You have the IO, you have the Shaker, but
there is nothing else left in the tank there for Ame, although trying to TP out, but the stun comes through right at the end. And LGD, another triple kill for Yatoro. And Y will manage to escape from that one, but a huge win for Spirit here in game number 2.
that is massive. Oh, what an amazing defense. And Class does it twice in the fight with the skewers, catching Nothing to Say. Like, you know, you talk about this idea with like the Aegis and like, what are you supposed to do with this Aegis? Are we supposed to push towers? Is that the goal right now? So, you know, should it be on the Morphling? You know?
Right.
Doesn't he kind of feel like the harder target to get in the first place, and instead you're sort of hanging Nothing to Say out to dry? Like, he gets one skewer and there was no chance to save him.
Yeah, I mean, again, part of that is also the decision to stick around after that relocate was used, because that's probably part of their idea behind it.
Yeah, I mean, that's your easiest long-range save, right?
Unreal. 5-6. And Team Spirit playing just absolutely great Dota.
I'm sensing a smoke up Echo Slam here soon. You know, this is what you
yes.
do. You lost your Aegis and you're like, okay, guys, this is fine. Group out. We're going to smoke. We've got our other tools back. Let's go dunk on some people.
Xingqiu so often has been the answer and the playmaker for this LGD lineup. Whether it's the Snapfire or this Earthshaker, whatever it is that he's playing, he's making the big moves. So 21 minutes in now, and Arrow continues to farm. I mean, this is the thing that's really scary, right? Like, how many times have we seen these Lunas just get completely out of control and then just walk high ground with an Aegis? And now it also feels like they have some of those tools with the Blinks Online to actually win those Aegis fights as well.
Yeah, sometimes they don't leave that high ground. It just takes one sort of mounting up there and it's over. Part of the reason why they can be a little bit patient here for Team Spirit, but patience, you know, that's not something they're very well known for.
Oh, scary. Invis. And then the smoke up afterwards. Team Spirit looking on the hunt. But LGD, sensing danger coming their way, will retreat out. Just
is he going to horn toss him again, Lyrical? Don't tell me he's going to horn toss him again.
Oh my God, he got him again, Trent! They did it to him as they find the pickoff. Collapse, you're too good.
What a smell.
Unreal.
Oh, they're so good at just finding that one kill and like waiting for this timing too of just this. They caught him on the zip.
They pull him back in afterwards. Why? In some trouble. Skewer a little bit off the mark, but the Brambles are there for round 2 of it. Team Spirit, they came to play on finals day. Taking down Secret, now looking to go up 2-0 in the series against LGD.
Meanwhile, Faith Beyond at least, you know, getting something back, right?
Yeah,
go grab that outpost, get it. But man, losing the Roche into just like taking over the map right now for Team Spirit. They're just having fun. That's what they say, right? They look like they're having fun.
They do.
Mavoshka looks like he's having fun. For someone who's playing Bane, that's as much fun as your face gets, I think. You know?
They're on top of it. Killing it. And we'll see now if LGD can pull this back. I mean, again, we've talked so much about the effect that pressure has in this lineup. In a lot of ways built to try and just win the Aegis. Not a whole lot else is going to be acceptable for them and the sort of standards that they set for themselves. 5-8.
I love how you see the sentry they put outside the base too, because I had the same thought. I'm just like, where was that ward? Like, how did this Magnus do that? You know, and just nothing. They're just Collapse is just too good. He just feels it. He just goes. At the very least, yeah, it's a lot of sentries.
They're all over the place.
And, you know, that's because they also have the gem, I believe, still, on Toronto, Tokyo. So they know that they're in trouble when it comes to the vision game, and so you get into this place where you're just kind of spamming them everywhere. And IO, you know, you heard our lovely draft panel as well as Insania talking about like the sustain and everything, and Insania pointed out just like how much more valuable that healing is on the earlier end, right? You know,
yes.
About trying to get as many of these mechs and these holy lockets as early as you can in the game, and when you have to spend on sentries, that can be a bit tough. But at the same time, you have a Shaker on your team, so you're making a sacrifice in terms of the goal to ensure that Blink Dagger is going to be there. Unfortunately, they haven't really gotten much out of the Shaker. Couple nice saves, but Xingqiu's still waiting for his big moment.
And it's tough, right? Because you have to sort of go in and make that chaos happen first with the rest of the heroes on LGD, and specifically Nothing to Say. And he's built all these items to try and stay alive. The Eternal Shroud, going for the Halberd, now into the Plate Mail. And it has just not been able to be enough to keep him alive against the big plays from Collapse. MVP in this game too.
And now, it's nighttime once again. So what do? We smoke. You got night vision, right? You have the advantage there. They're going to have to rely on the treants from Faith Beyond if they want to get some of these plays out. That is the vision that they have at night. But the edge certainly belongs to Team Spirit.
Absolutely. As they move up onto the high ground, XinQ feels like he's safe, but they drop down the ward right away. XinQ manages to get out of there, has that shard to create that separation. But again, a ward dewarded and taken away vision from LGD.
They're just going to do the sweeping motion here, right? They actually scanned ahead to see if he could blink in there. He's checking the high ground.
Yeah.
Collapse wants this so bad.
He's ready. He feels the moment, dude. He is so on top of it. Waiting for the vision.
Nothing to say, he's going so far back. He's like, no.
He knows. Fool me. Oh my God, that was close. Fissure afterwards. They're sensing it. They back out of their
he
time.
is feeling it today.
Came close there.
I mean, that's what's so cool about the spell, though, is that you can just fish.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes you're not going to catch anything. Sometimes you get yourselves the big old whale.
You know what's also so interesting about this? Like, those two outposts are still held by LGD. They're keeping so much pressure on the map by LGD, and Team Spirit, it doesn't look like they're that interested in trying to take it back. They're just looking for those kills now.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, it's going to be a very long Roche spawn, because that's kind of what they're playing for right now for Team Spirit, right? It's just like, we don't want to rush anything. We just need one more good fight. We're going to clear up this entire base with our Luna, and we want the Roche for that. So they're going to be trying to control around the pit. Someone's going to sit in there. They're going to wait. They're going to be very disappointed for 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
There you go.
And that's just time for PSG.LGD. So what can we stall for here is the question. Ashiva's coming out relatively soon for nothing to say, but the Aghanims, that's what we're stalling for. So whenever you get in trouble as a Morphling, you look to say, how good is Manag's game is it? And it's like, oh yeah, right, we picked Morph Shaker. So we do have that going.
That's going to be the big window that they're looking for. Only 2 points in Enchant Totem right now for that Shaker. But can still be devastating with all the lockdown that you get.
Now, interesting things that we're going to have to watch during that, though, will be the fact that it's the Aeon Disc on the puck, right? So they're going to be looking to catch and chain and even just try and, like, go through that stats resistance while it's actually active on Toronto Tokyo and just try and, like, keep chaining him down because he's not going to have the BKB. And then after that, we also know that Collapse, he really likes these kind of cheeky items, right? He doesn't like BKB. You've seen the plays this guy's making.
There's the Aeon Disc out. Toronto Tokyo not concerned, just blinks away after the Aeon Disc is procced. And also getting that D-ward again.
So the question will be, when they come high ground, you know, will you find this big Morph Shaker play? Are you going to catch these heroes without the immunity that they need to survive what is obviously a pretty terrifying duo of heroes?
Faith Beyond shows for a second. Collapse, looks for an opening, sees him there. There's an opening, the horn toss, the pullback with Skewer, and immediately gets the kill. Nothing is free, not even pushing out a wave.
That's the kind of punish that you need. I mean, they felt pretty free on this map, right? Because they are moving around as a single unit for Team Spirit, right? And that's why we're spotting some of these heroes just like Faith Beyond's randomly in a spot, pushing out a wave, nothing to say. That's why they were able to control the outposts for so much longer than you might expect, considering the situation that Team Spirit was in. But the punishes are free, and so they will go back once more for a disappointing look inside the Roche pit, and then wait another 30 seconds, and then they'll go back and do it again.
But look at this. They have that Aghanim Scepter done on the Morphling now. Puck also just finishing an Aghanim Scepter and has an Arcane Rune bottled.
They're like sending in Wifers. Just these slow movements in. Ready to tether back off Sentry. It's going to catch both.
They have vision right away.
They know they're there.
Collapse. Oh, he doesn't go for it.
We've seen them go into these trees so many times.
Collapse.
I would not be surprised.
He's thinking about it. XinQ is back there.
Oh, they're just baiting out.
Yeah, they're waiting on it. And Faith Beyond, in the meantime, farming on the other side.
And the Radiant, they scanned that pit there to no success. They're going to send in the Treants, though. So, PSG.LGD, they're in the know. They've got the Morphling with the Aghanims, with the Shaker, and a team that really wants the Roche. They have a plan.
This could be LGD's comeback here. Can they make it happen, though?
And how long can you sort of like control and force the focus of Team Spirit to be here, and what are you gaining on the rest of the map? I mean, again, they're fanning out a bit here, and you have the global teleportation up in 10 seconds for Faith Beyond. Yeah, you have Ame just farming the Dire Ancients right now, so...
Are they going to give up this
There go the
Roche?
Treants. I mean, they know they're in there right now. I highly doubt they just give this up for free.
I don't know, is it still inside here? They're moving over now. Faith Beyond getting some Treants out. Starting to move into position. They're going to lay down these brambles.
They're actually doing this so slow that maybe PSG.LGD are just kind of fine with this.
Are they really going to give up Roche for this, though?
I think they just can't get into the position, right? I mean, they don't have the best vision around the area. They actually see absolutely nothing right now. So, I mean, they know they're in there. They've sent in the treants. But again, how do you get that initiation when, you know, you're so reliant on, you'd rather just fight on the high ground at this point.
All right, well, LGD give that one up. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them later, as Mira is going to push out this lane up top. Faith Beyond very close. And they're going to have to deal with their lanes, because this is one thing that's definitely beneficial for LGD is their split push potential. Faith Beyond, BKB with that Orchid. Xingqiu shows up. Yadoro up on the high ground, nothing to say there as well. They have great vision on Team Spirit, and now showing in the lane. They're thinking about going, they pull him back in, and he is done. Can they go for any more now? They have full control onto the Luna, but Luna just walks away. Living yet again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's thinking about, like, is there a buyback play there? Because that's a pretty bold sentry to place down.
On just like that, Team Spirit with Aegis in hand. Faith Beyond could maybe go for a play there, but Toronto Tokyo not showing himself, has the boots of travel to join with the rest of the team.
Right? They had the ward near the base. They actually saw that Ame was moving over here.
Oh, man. This would be such a huge pickup if they can get him.
The spider legs.
Walking in. They get him with the horn toss. Chasing down for more. Ame's done. Team Spirit, everywhere they go, people die.
It's the ward game, you know? Just spots them heading over there. That ward near the base. Lets them know. They chase it down. And now they go up. Will they leave is the real question. There is a glyph available for the Radiant.
True enough. They walk up high ground, and Yadoro going to start beating away, laying claim to this area. In the meantime, Faith Beyond's going to try and push up that top side, but they catch him right away with the glyph. Collapse, pulls him back in, breaks the coil. Team Spirit, they're just playing too clean today. LGD need more. They don't have buyback on this Morphling. They can't get 2 racks at the very least on the side of Spirit, but I mean,
do you need 2 racks?
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, maybe Faith Beyond is actually starting to take this one down. Now the jump in. There's the BKB. Faith Beyond still has that Orchid available, but the turn off to the side. Oh, great Orchid to interrupt, and that will be enough to get him out.
That was really well done with the BKB TV. It's like there's one answer, right?
Yeah.
Finds in there with the Orchid, so well done indeed. He will at least take a tier 3, so that's something, but of course there's still lots of time. You know, 2.5 minutes for a Luna to just run back to your base. She's pretty fast.
You're not wrong about that one, and can start pressuring down these other towers. There's no more glyph either. Does Team Spirit want to make another run at this with the Aegis? They're just so far ahead already. 10k gold. It does not look particularly close.
Yeah, the boots of travel there from Toronto Tokyo, so he's just able to push out this bottom lane. He can be there in a flash too, trying to match some of this global capability that's there from PSG.LGD, but they're still waiting for their shining moment of Morph Shaker. They are in this game, believe it or not.
Just haven't had an opening. Satanic now done too for the Luna.
Couriers just flying in everywhere, dropping off all these new items to Team Spirit.
I mean, Yadoro's almost 10k gold up on the next hero on the enemy team. LGD just don't have an answer for this Luna, particularly with the Aegis. And it looks so free for him. This is the path to victory for Spirit to go up 2-0 over LGD.
They got to guard this wave that's with them, though. Faith Beyond has caught the next one. They're scanning that he's actually still there, so he's going back. Toronto Tokyo, he's going to try and hunt down Faith Beyond.
Oh, and off to the side, they get the vision. Tries to chase him down there. There's the silence, the coil afterwards. Still hits pretty hard on Faith Beyond, but with collapse in the area, they're going to break the coil and kill off the Prophet.
How fast does he need to buy back is the question.
Oh, man.
Can they actually like force it here? I mean, it's going to be a while for the lanes, right? That's kind of why you're able to sacrifice your life sometimes on Nature's Prophet. I don't think they can punish this simply by the speed at which creeps walk. So there'll be a little bit more time now for LGD. But what are you gaining in this time? You know, there's going to be a Scotty done. So that is pretty huge, actually. Scotty and the Morphling versus this Luna.
And
versus
again,
the Satanic.
I mean, it's looked so one-sided partially because LGD haven't taken that fight yet, right? Like, and there's still going to be that window when they have the, you know, Ag Shaker and can go in all at once together. It's just they're waiting for that perfect fight. Still have to be careful of that one on Team Spirit. And with this Aegis, you would have to imagine it would come soon.
Well, Collapse, you know, I think he wants his perfect game here. He's the only one who hasn't died so far on Team Spirit.
Absolutely carrying out of that off lane.
No kills, too. So giving, you know? Such a charitable offlaner.
That's the way it's supposed to be, absolutely. Ooh, also, that Aether lens for the extra range. So much range on absolutely everything in this game for him. But they're gonna get set up again. Morphling sending in the courier. This one might get scouted here, and
oh, it's on the way out.
Oh,
nice.
with the lucid beam.
Yeah, using the lucid beam and
well
the shard.
played. That was that the Scotty? Oh,
yeah, it
God,
was.
killing that Scotty.
Almost
3
3
minutes.
minutes of no Scotty, but it's okay. LGD, they don't actually see enemy heroes. They just see enemy creep waves. Right? That's the goal right now.
Okay.
The creeps are the true enemy. So that's why Faith Beyond, he's not up top where the heroes are. He's down bottom where the creeps are. Just keep pushing them out. Keep them away from your base.
Try and extend this as long as possible and then force Team Spirit into a bad position. And, in the last couple of minutes, they've caught up in terms of net worth.
You look at this warp. He just keeps climbing.
Will it be enough, though? They can make the most of this, dodge fights, and then possibly get another fight around that next Aegis. That might be their window with the BKB on Ame.
I think what's very impressive from Team Spirit is how long they have just kept this single ball rolling around together, and they're not panicking. Because a lot of teams, it gets to this point where it feels like you've been roaming around for so long, and now the Aegis is gone, so people said they fan out a bit and they farm, right?
Yeah.
Morph Shaker will punish that with relocate, with a Nature's Prophet. They will find you. They will kill you if you try and go out on your own.
But with all the lanes pushed out now, Team Spirit, without that Aegis, still going to walk up and hit this a couple of times. You have 3,200 HP on Yaro as well as the Butterfly done.
And they have this ward on the high ground that LGD don't know about.
Collapse.
They have collapse.
So often, he's been the one to make those big plays. They're continuing to push in the bottom lane. LGD hoping for an overreaction from Team Spirit. As they walk up, start to hit these racks, but likewise, bottom lane is being pushed in.
They've morphed in as well, actually. He's fully committed to the Shaker.
Terrorize afterwards, caught with the fear and the horn toss to pull back. They got nothing to say.
He's so far away.
They don't have a way to get to him. He is going to die here as they get the Fiend's grip off and the eventual right click down to death.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo in the back.
Chase.
He caught one on the way
Gets
in, too.
one! Onto ZQ, he's in trouble now as well. They find themselves another pickoff potentially here. ZQ, nothing else left in the tank, falls down.
That's a nice play. Very heads up there from Toronto Tokyo, just not letting him just get away with offering up the sacrifice of the Lesh Rack, not just the goat. We're gonna take what is Shaker? Cow?
There you go.
We'll take that too.
Right.
Yeah.
They're keeping these lanes pushed out. And this is the only thing. We've seen a couple of teams, you think back to that Quincy Crew game, they were able to keep the lanes shoved in constantly and eventually win with an all-in push. And that might have to be what we see from LGD as well. Maybe a relocate play with Morphling or something like that.
No. Do not say that. I won't allow it.
You won't allow
it. Not here. Not some DD relocate Morphling.
There's a chance. There's potentially a way. You got to be careful of your Team Spirit. With this global potential that they have on LGD, anything could happen.
The last outer tower. Now gone. PSG.LGD.
Faith Beyond AC done. And Team Spirit starting to sense Roche going to be back up. 10 seconds. And with that, it could be the window to close this game out for Team Spirit.
All right, refresher or eggs? What are we getting?
I'm down for either. As it will respawn right now.
Get the eggs.
Interesting. Smoke up, though. LGD. Is this finally the fight that they feel comfortable with? They have been sitting on this Ag Shaker for so long. Or Ag's Morphling, rather, with the Shaker. BKB now done to boot.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Maybe they get ZQ and eggs here. That would be kind of nice.
You can see Team Spirit not comfortable just hitting away in the Roche pit. Nothing to say, walks in. Yadaro up front and center.
Jeez.
Nothing to say, they jump in. There's the control. The damage out. Mapochka's dead, buys back immediately. Yadaro turns to fight, destroys, nothing to say. They've got him, caught to the side. Ame in some trouble, hitting from the low ground. How many misses are there? It doesn't matter as they chase him down and kill him off. A great win for Team Spirit as they will find more and more Unbelievable.
The chase continues.
Yaro just chases him down, and Echo afterwards trying to buy a little bit of space, nothing to say, but Kimmy Kill collapse, trying to take him down, but no, it won't happen. On the side, Toronto Tokyo will fall with a big stun afterwards. Yaro moving in, he's big, he's bad, he's Luna, trying to kill him off. The fear, the pullback, collapse, he's got him. ZQ looking dead as well as they turn and hit. Another one bites the dust, but they buy back now. On Xingqiu, Faith Beyond getting absolutely shredded. Yaro is too big as they catch him in again. The pushback, they got him caught and gonna maybe find the kill. Nothing to say, down low, dead. Another huge win, Team Spirit. They won't be denied. The horn toss catches onto Xingqiu, and Yaro just slaughter.
The way they play these fights, they're so in sync with one another. GG is called. They call it a Cinderella story. Well, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Unreal.
They look good.
And we got a crowd up there. Talent, very excited for this young team's present. They have been absolutely dominant in this one. 2-0.
It's not just the fact that they won 2 games, it's the way they won these games. The patience exhibited here is not something of a young team of like, oh, we crushed the lanes and we're totally owning this game. They were patient.
Yes.
They knew their timing. They watched for the only way for PSG.LGD to get back in this game, and they just blocked it out.
Unbelievable showing here from this team. The patience, the calm, cool collectedness, and now 1 game away from being able to raise that Aegis. Unreal. Very socially distanced crowd. You love to see it from them as well. So we get ready to go into this game number 3, but the man behind it all, Miposhka right there, captain, and keeping everybody with a cool head.
Yeah, well, the man behind PSG.LGD. What are the options now?
I don't know.
You know, you came in, you were the favorites. Everyone expected you to be the ones up 2-0 at this point, you know, for Team Spirit to be digging deep. He's got to come up with these plans. He's been challenged now twice. He's lost said challenge. What is up for game 3?
We'll have to see as we head back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Trent and Lyrical. Yeah, this game started with us talking to Zhao 8, who said regarding the Magnus pick on the side of Team Spirit, it is all in our plans. And gentlemen, the plan didn't work, Tico.
I mean, so first of all, PSG, they're very aggressive early on. They're taking top tower, taking mid tower, trying to go for bot. And then you see how Spirit, they kind of shift away from that aggression. They get up some aggressive wards. Again, Miposhka, MVP in all of these games just because of his vision. My glasses are foggy. They're now gone. But then you have the ability for Spirit to bide their time. And at 20 minutes, they then just turn it up, right? They get this shard of Magnus, and they're just going fishing. As soon as they see someone, whoop, come on over. We got a pot coil. We got a bramble maze on the Willow to go for. We got an Eclipse. We got an overfarm Luna. Yeah, again. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to nerf Toffs after this. Like, it's insane.
Well, how are you going to nerf Collapse? I think that is a little bit more short-term, because that is something, Cinderin, that I think PSG.LGD is going to look to.
Yeah, I think so, honestly, the most important way that that Spirit are winning the games right now is on vision. So a really big part. It looks amazing when you hit all these horn tosses, but the reason Collapse is finding them is that they find themselves in good position where they have better vision. And I think a really key part of that strategy is the Luna pick for the night vision. So, you know, I think what PSG.LGD were thinking when they said they had a plan for this, you look at their draft, right? They have the relocate away from horn toss. They have a hero like Morphling who's really hard to kill in it. They have a really long range stun from the Shaker. So they have potential ideas that could work against this. The problem is you can't be ready all the time. Like, you have an idea of where the enemy might be seeing you, but every time you're caught off guard, you get that snap pick, and they just keep building and building and building. So my suggestion going into game number 3 is I think you have to ban Magnus, and then aside from that, I think, you know, options are open. Or you need to set up the draft like you did in game 1, where Magnus was actually ignored in the first phase because of the way the picks went down in that order.
Yeah, let's talk about the start of this game, Tsunami, because it felt a little bit like a repeat of the start of game 1.
Especially because it was another IO draft. Granted, it was a much more different approach to IO, but the dynamic was still quite similar. And I think the cheap initiation, both literally and figuratively, has been very, very popular over the past 6 months. We saw, like, Beastmaster's Aghanim Scepter being like, I don't need to commit to a fight. I can just toss axes from miles away. Ember Spirit has emerged to be the most popular of the spirits as of the past few months, just because if I get a slight chains, great. Otherwise, I don't really need to go in. And now we're seeing the prevalence of Horn Toss, where it's like, I'll fish for a skewer. If I don't get it, I'm already going back to my base anyway. So I think, like Sin said, if you don't think that you can get vision superiority, you're not going to beat Spirit.
No, and they did they didn't beat Spirit in this game to T-Gov. I want to talk about the Shaker Morph combo because that was something that we saw PSG.LGD go for, and we thought, okay, you know what, they got a set draft. This is what it's supposed to do, but it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, again, it's something that you need time with, right? Like, Morphling needs to get to a couple items plus the Axe to then really join into the game. The Shaker needs to get to his levels to enable the Morphling. Like, you need to have your own map to play. And I think PSG early on, they were really breaking down that map. They were taking these early towers, they were utilizing that Fury, and like they picked off the puck at this tier 2 siege top. Like, it looked pretty good, but it's the fact that Spirit were able to kind of shift away that kind of map movement, and they're over farming on their heroes. Like, a very small thing, and probably wasn't really noticeable, but Yotaro, like, after fights, there was like double waves coming into him. He wasn't even farming the lane. He'd go to the jungle, allow other heroes to take that farm. And it's because you have even distribution of farm to some degree, you're able to continue taking fights every single item timing. You're not waiting an extra 2-3 minutes for the Willer to get a vessel, or, you know, the Bane to get, you know, a 4-staff, whatever. It's the idea that you are being ready at all times. So it doesn't matter if you're playing against Morph Shaker, because you're going to have that 1-2 item advantage the entire game.
And the key thing for the key component for Morph Shaker is similarly, it's vision. It's about seeing the enemy team first, so you can get that fissure combination. If you, in all of these like OS Frog moments we've had in the past, we're like, man, this shit is so broken, you know? It's like out of the fog comes one fissure, then the other fissure. It's like X marks the spot, and they both jump in and kill someone. The problem is, I think we saw that like literally one fight in this game after they got it. Because every time it was Team Spirit that got the initiation. So, I mean, hats off to them. I'm honestly just super impressed. I was one of the non-believers, I'll admit it, going into this finals. I thought, okay, this LGD have looked so dominant. Even though Team Spirit are catching steam here and are looking really good, I still think they're going to falter. And at this point, LGD need to pull an IG from, which major was that? Against EG, the reverse sweep Singapore major.
They need a question mark.
Yeah, they need a question mark.
They need something. They need something. I like that you said, you know, honestly, I'm really impressed. I know that, you know, you got the Purge voice line going. And speaking of Purge, we're going to him right now because he has more on Team Spirit.
Thanks, guys. You heard from Toonami before about LGD's strengths right now, but let's take a look at what Spirit's doing. One of their big advantages right now is how versatile Yotaro is playing as a carry. And if you can pull out these really effective tools in the right games, it gives you a big advantage in the mid and late game. In this first match of the series so far, Naga Siren with the fast Ags after the Manta gave them great tools against these highly mobile heroes on the PSG side. Very useful against Pango to limit his rolling boulder. You can use it against Ursa to break Enrage. You can send your illusions on Ursa to force him just to retreat, not to engage. And these are some of the tricks that Spirit's used so far throughout the entire tournament, actually, to just break matches. In the previous match that they played against IG, they also had a big advantage too. It wasn't necessarily from, well, it was actually for some weird hero picks here. They grabbed a PA to give them AoE break against the Tide. So in this match, they also used kind of a cool combo that nobody really expected to just punish the enemy lineup. But what was still really obvious, and has been the case for every single Spirit lineup, is that they play so well together as a team. They cover each other's weaknesses, they follow up on each other perfectly. It's like their mind melded together, and that is the reason that they're currently 2-up in the grand finals here of TI-10.
Yeah, it is honestly incredibly impressive. They're on the side of Team Spirit. They're one game away from taking this championship. There's 4 first-timers in their squad, 1 second-timer in Maposhka in their squad. And of course, Silence has got a lot of experience. This is his 5th international, but his first as a coach. So there's that as well. And this team is just on the verge of winning. And I want to talk about that because mind games, a big thing in the TI finals. And we talk about the mind games regarding the money. I think the amount of pressure that PSG.LGD is under, last TI that is won by a Chinese squad was TI6. And before that, it was all like 1 TI for the side of China, 1 TI, not China, etc., etc., etc. But until TI6, and since then, there's not been a Chinese teams winning it. And there's so much pressure coming on these players, on their backs, because they were supposed to be the champions, Toonami.
A consistent theme of all of the exit interviews that we've seen from the Chinese teams is a great deal of national pride.
Yes.
They don't feel like they themselves are like, oh, you know, we lost, you know, we'll come back stronger next time. They're like, I have failed to represent our region in terms of Dota superiority, because even if they don't make it to grand finals, they have let another region beat them, and they have somehow created more competition now for LGD. Whereas Team Spirit, on the other hand, every single interview I've seen from them, they're just like, yo, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, I don't know what game we're playing. I just play a game of Dota that we happen to be on the States, Synerin, that we happen to be playing for extra $13 million. By the way, they don't care, or they don't seem to care.
Yeah,
it's not getting in their head.
I do think it's a pretty key point as well, because as much praise as we're giving Spirit here, and they deserve all of it, I also don't think LGD have fully showed up today. I think some of their moves, they're a little bit hesitant, they're a little less hungry. It seems like there are some nerves, and it's kind of unbelievable when you think about it, because the rest of the tournament, they have looked unstoppable. They've had games where they were super far down, they make the right moves, they win. And perhaps it's always easier to look weak against a team that's playing out of their minds, but it's like there's always a little bit of both, right? So I think for me going into the next game for LGD, Xiao8 actually plays the most important role in the next game, even though he's not even playing, because the team needs to get into the right mind space. They need to get the belief that they can win, and then I think the adjustment they need is that draft. I like the IO suggestion. Try something else, right? It bombed out 2 games now. You're playing against a team that clearly knows what to do about it, so you can still come back. But
what are your first phase bans, though? Are you still going to do Mag Mars? Because I think you have to target Collapse.
Again, the key thing here is the fact that I believe PSG had the choice of going for first or second pick, right? And they themselves put them in the position of allowing Spirit to ban out the Tiny and the Monkey, forcing themselves to either ban the IO themselves or pick it, right? So in this position, it does feel like you'd like to see something different from PSG. The IO hasn't really worked out. Just add some more stuns, add that ability to break down the map a little bit better, and then they should be in a good stead. And going back to the point of PSG and the expectation, you think about Spirit and how they got here. They just played the lower bracket game, right? They're 1 game down, they win game 2, they win game 3. Like that momentum, that is so hard to attain, in any competition, right? So that is very much why they're feeling confident. And of course, you do have the head kissing versus the belly rubs, and therefore head kissing is 2 up right now.
All right, gentlemen, here they come. It is time very soon. We'll see game 3 of this grand finals. And this 3rd game could potentially be the last. Right now, Team Spirit is up 2-0, and it has only happened once before that a team was able to 3-0 their opponent in a grand finals. PSG.LGD, we know they have it in them to force out that game 4, but we need them to believe in themselves and in their draft as well. We know also that they can do it. Faith Beyond and Y both have already got a TI win under their belts. They won TI 6 with Wings. We have seen Ame being in a grand finals. TI 8, of course, that was one of the closest grand finals we have had, and unfortunately Ame wasn't able to take it, but it came very close, and we knew that the pressure there might have been a little bit too much, but we know that he can do better than what he is showing right now, Tigov.
Yeah, it's just so difficult, right? Like when you're 2-0 down, this is really where you need to kind of just come together. And even if, like you say, one person hasn't been standing up or the team hasn't been performing to their best potential, they just need to rally around what they've been doing well to get to this point, right? Like they're in the grand finals, they've clearly been doing something right. So this is where you just need to kind of break that off, reset, go again, treat it like it's the first game in the series.
That is so hard to do. It sounds so easy when we say it. Hey, just don't think about that you're 2 games down. Just play a game of Dota, Tsunami. How hard is it?
But the problem is they've just now lost as many games in this grand finals as they have throughout the entire tournament.
True.
I don't know if they're used to losing. They have having to repair is a challenge, and Spirit has had to repair on their journey here. And having that lower bracket run coming into the past 2 days, playing 2 series means that in their second series they're already warmed up. LGD was sitting here waiting for the secret series to finish. They have not had to be on the back foot and be like, oh my gosh, okay, we gotta change our dynamic. I have no doubts that Xiao8 would be able to deal with that, but it needs to come now or you're gonna lose.
Isn't it kind of crazy to think about that no matter what the score is in this grand finals, LGD has a better win rate at this tournament than Spirit?
Yeah, that's true.
By far. Like, it's not even close.
No, it's not.
Even if they 3-0, their win rate is still way worse. So that's what finals are about. Like, it's the final game. Have you got it when it matters the most so far? Spirit definitely do. Yeah, for me, I'm just super excited to see the draft because I think this third game is very telling about the mentality. When you're kind of broken like this, when you're down 0-2, there's like two approaches to take. There's the crazy approach where you just throw everything out the window, you do something completely different. And there's the one where you're like stubborn to the, like almost to the limit, right? Where you're like, no, we can still win with this damn IO. We're going to try the third time in a row, and we're going to adjust some of the bans. So I'm really curious. And I honestly, depending on your perspective on it, I think I can see both approaches as a sign of strength and a sign of weakness.
Sure.
So it's kind of hard to just say out of the first two, but I really, really, really want to see what they're thinking right now.
But do you want to be the team that potentially loses 3-0 in the grand finals to the underdog, just going IO every single time, not really changing it up?
I think that's something you kind of have to nod in your head, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to shut that out. I mean, as repetitive as it sounds, you gotta treat this game as a fresh game, a standalone game, not having the pressure of $13 extra million on your head, not having the pressure of an entire region on your head, and not having the pressure of Coach Zhao on your head, and everything that comes with winning the international. And you just gotta play a game of Dota, play a pub. And you know what? Nothing to say. He's been playing so many pubs. He is the world ranked 1 player. I feel like we haven't really seen him step up that much yet, Tsunami. Is that because of his heroes that he's been playing today?
I think partly the heroes that he's playing, but also the heroes that his team is playing. I think that he hasn't been given the correct draft to let him pop off on a thing like Ember Spirit that we were talking about. Give him some cheap initiation that he can get in and out. Give Spirit a taste of their own medicine, because so far, every time you're running an IO strat, it's more on the shoulders of Ame to finish the game off, and that has not been happening for the first 2 games.
So to beat Team Spirit, you gotta pick a Spirit, Tigo.
Maybe so. I actually hate spirits. Don't forget that.
But
no,
you like to break a spirit, though.
I do like to break a spirit. But yeah, Team Spirit. Their second pick, right? So in both the previous 2 games. So in the draft order, that simply means that they get to pick the core after seeing 4 heroes and the mid after seeing all 5 of PSG 2 times in a row. So we mentioned the idea of the impact of Ame, the impact of Nothing to Say. It is a product of the Lesh was a sacrificial type pick in the draft. This Pangolier was kind of thrown out there, not a comfort from Nothing to Say. So I would really love to see either they shift around their first pick drafting style to enable the players a bit more, or take that second pick one time and just give it a go where they actually get to go, okay, this is our best core in the game, this is our best read on the game, and give it a go. Because right now, Spirit is utilizing that 18 and 24 very well.
Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. It is time for Game 3 of this Grand Finals.